here's another question. We're segueing. We're doing the segue. This is great. So what are you currently working on, bro? Right now.
Currently working on. So today, as of today, actually, there's a sync that had been waiting on.
Hmm.
We did with Netflix. It's a movie that came out today, Love at First Sight. It's a cover of Whitney Houston that my artist Cowper signed to the label released. So super excited about that. Netflix, massive audience. I mean, we're an indie label, so
Let's get it.
that kind of exposure is exciting. You know, wherever the wind blows.
Hmm.
For that record.
It's going up.
Billy Vayner is one of an artist that we've been developing on the label. Just as a person, he's incredible. You might have seen him on TikTok or on Instagram. He loves to have fun. He loves to dance to like 90s R&B music, and he makes fire music. If you ask me,
He makes really good music.
It's we've been working on him for 3 years now, and he's prime example as an artist of, if you really put the work in and if you really have a plan, it pays off. I hate using the word paying because it's bigger than monetary, but it really blossoms into something.
Hmm.
And I can't wait to see where Billy goes. I think I know I mean, I've been a believer since the beginning. But yeah, Billy Vayner is a very, very exciting project we're working on right now. Ayel as well. We're dropping an EP, first album. I'm sorry.
Hey, let's go.
Next week, September 22nd. You met Ayel.
Yeah, and Yale's been putting in work for a long time, songwriting, doing her thing. She's getting it ready.
When you met Ayel as well, that was South by Southwest 2019.
Yeah.
In March. And since then, nothing's been the same. And I mean this in a great way. So you really saw it when we were just putting in the work. I mean, we still are, but really putting in the building the foundation.
Yeah.
So
It was just carving. Now it's a whole thing. Turning it into the whole brand, man. Another branch from the tree, and that's great. That's really the ish.
Tara Caroselli as well is a project, super exciting project we've been working on. You may have known her from the feature of she did with Coco and Breezy. Just say,
yeah.
So they're super dope as well. And I love that record. But Tara Caroselli has an EP, her EP coming out as well. I'm super excited for that.
Man, bro, look, you got so much in the tank, bro. You got choppers loaded, bro.
But it's funny. I wish I was dropping bigger names, but the scene.
Bro, this is the vibe. It's like, the scene of the bubbling, like, new era, bro. Like, that's what it's about. We're on the cusp of that in the point of time and where we're at right now. Like, we're at a point in time where culture and creativity and all this stuff is like, people are doing remixes. People are, not all the remixes are shout outs to things we need to get shouted back out to. You know what I mean? The shout outs need to be real shout outs, back to the past and mixed with the new era and the new vibe and the new energy too, and that passion and shit,
That's where I'm at. And we've been patiently waiting for our turn. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's. I think we talk about this all the time, but it's, in terms of, there's not we don't know, we don't see history happening in real time. But you know what I mean? If that makes sense, you only see history when you look back. When you look back 30 years, oh, that was a period of time when so and so. So, but anyways, but I want to believe this is history in the making, and. Yeah, man. I mean,
it sounds like it, bro. Sounds like it. Yeah. Ain't y'all about to drop? See, like, as I was saying, when it's a notable shout out, bro, the Whitney shout out, that's a shout out that, it's just been bubbling up. Like, oh, we need a shout out. We need a Whitney shout out because, she laid the foundations for a lot of prominent women singers, like specifically mentoring Brandy, Monica, and then all the people that they mentor. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Like, straight up.
Much. my life is a musical. What I mean by that is there's never not a moment where there's not a song playing in my head, and it were the good times and the bad, if that makes sense. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing over and over in my head "Redemption Song" by Bob Marley. And while I was working construction, like in the heat, you know what I mean,
Mm.
somewhere out in like deep Pennsylvania, Whitney Houston,
From
it's the
slavery.
greatest love. You know what I mean? The
Ooh.
greatest love of all. It's happened. It's just she. Yeah. And her, anyways,
Yeah,
the point I'm trying
yeah,
to make,
bro.
Whitney's discography has been, such a big part of music that plays in my head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because whether she wrote her music or not, it's her the channel of all those
Yeah.
creators. And it's her
Yeah,
voice.
she's
You
the
know what I mean?
vessel. She was the vessel for that, and that's what it's about when you're a great performance artist. Like you're the vessel, and you're going in knowing it, and you act as such. You act accordingly. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
That's a higher
You,
part of it, but they don't gotta work to get to that understanding. Some people,
it's. I mean, I'm on the behind. I'm in the behind the stages, so I know the
Mhm.
work that it takes for a
You know,
record to exist. That's why Whitney, her flowers, but as well as all the other creatives that what I mean contributed for Whitney to get to where she was. Goes even for the executives and that. You know what I mean? Like it's
hmm
really takes an army. But yeah, shout out Whitney, incredible, just
incredible, man.
incredible.
So look,
You know.
I got one last question for you, man, and this is the question right here, because this people need to understand the realness, the realness, the realness. So, bro, what's it like running an indie label and having a family, man? What's it like, V man? What's it like, man? Because sometimes I call you, I FaceTime you with the babies. That makes me, bro, I be smiling. I'm like, yeah, my dog doing it. He doing
it's
it.
it's 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 probably my biggest challenge. To be very honest with you,
Hmm.
I'm only human too.
Yeah,
There probably days where I do tear up. Happy tears. Stress tears.
yeah.
It's shoot. I think the other day I was on the phone with my distributor. Just he reminded me of just the where we were at. It's indie is not easy. Just with how the music industry works, it's we're competing. The way I've always phrased it, this is David versus Goliath, right? But it's not the David versus Goliath that we read, in the stories.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is like David versus the Death Star. Not to villainize, anybody, but
Yo,
it's
yes,
it's
yes,
it's
yes.
well, you have to look at this, like a football game almost, right?
Yeah,
Or
man.
like or a league, right? So like the NFL, right? I'm a coach, okay, and I have my team. Now, I'm not the Patriots. I don't have billion-dollar budgets to work with to sign the biggest stars or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but all I can do is just come up with strategies, right, to compete at that level.
Hmm.
So, obviously though, so you have to really understand that, it's not easy. It's very hard. Now, it's not to discourage anyone from doing it, but you really, 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 really have to, you know, you really, really have to believe because creating an audience is probably the hardest thing. I mean,
Hmm.
I live in a big city. I live next to New York City, so just walking in New York City, you may see some I mean, I think shoot uh, to make
Yeah.
this point. I'm sure. I don't know if you've seen it. There's like one of the most famous violinists. This man gets paid probably close to multi six figures just to perform at like the best best auditoriums or whatnot in the world. And
Hmm.
I think he was performing in a New York City subway, and I think no one stopped to even recognize this man or even just to listen to his music. Whereas
Hmm.
people paid top money to see him perform live, right? And
Hmm.
that just shows you already, like it doesn't mean because something is very good that people are even going to stop and listen. People most won't even care. Not to take any, not even to be negative about it, but that's the
That's the
reality of it.
reality of the situation of the human condition in the mind.
It's just
Everybody's on the way to their own thing and in their own
it's
mind.
yeah, that, I'm me personally, I love music, you know what I mean? So I pay more attention to it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something that catches my ear, you know what I mean? I'll give time to it, right? But I can't be naive to believe that that's everyone else, right? So it's when you've accepted this, when you've accepted the fact that it's going to be hard, and when you've accepted that it's you versus, the Death Star in some capacity, right? Like
And eventually you have to fight Vader if you want to fight Vader. You don't have to fight
yeah,
Vader, but you can pull up with
so
the stick.
so then you just gotta you gotta hold on. You gotta find the metrics that work for you. Because even to say, oh, when we get that hit record, I've gotten to a point where it's like even that, nothing really changes. It's really back to work. What's next,
What's
right?
next?
Um, so it's conditioning your mind to 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 operate in that. But like I said, it's not easy, and it's
There you
because
go.
especially like you said, I do have a family, and it's one of those things where you music is one of those things where you know everyone knows you're talented, everyone knows that you deserve it, right? Because you work so hard, but it's not because you deserve it nor because you're talented that it'll come, right? And so I mean, it's so when it gets like when it gets to a point where you have to have so much faith that even when people start doubting, you don't have start to having doubt in yourself.
Hmm.
And what happens is then it's just like you start finding metrics to the business, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, looking at the numbers, all
Looking at
right,
the
well,
numbers, looking at the
one,
data.
we're sustaining exactly
Mhm.
like most record labels
Which
are in
one of
the
these
red,
records are doing good for me? Which one of
you
these
know
records are not doing the best? Which one should I focus on? Should I put a
it's
budget on this video that's getting the most plays right now?
sure.
Should I set up a campaign on this specific that I because I looked at the data? Did I it's all that
Yeah,
stuff. You
it's
got to know
but
that
and then
too.
and so in in our industry, it's true that it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? So how many times do we hear an artist signing for a big advance but saying then that they've never seen a check from that company? Well, that's
Yep.
because most likely they've never recouped that advance.
Yeah.
um which
Hey, V, talk about that. I had that
Yeah.
last question, but I feel like you expounding on that is big.
Yeah. So what it is that because it's kind of to put so like for example, yeah. So the reason why I'm getting into this is so when you hear stories about artists, signing for big advance, it could be multi six figure. Shoot, some cases it might be multi seven figures. Um, and then you hear later on that these artists have never seen money from that record label outside of that one time advance. And that usually, now I don't know the accounting per se, per case, but usually that means that that signing has not recouped on that deal overall. Now, in business practices, that's not a good deal,
Hmm.
right? If I loan you money to for whatever business end over, and I don't like it's within the deal structure that we set, if there's no money to be made and it's a loss, right? It's a banker would most likely not do that deal. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So you really have to with as an indie, label, we pride ourselves on, recouping deals because that's, or else, I can't afford to be losing money, right? We have to make money. So it's one of those things where, people should kind of be proud of themselves, with whatever scale they're operating on. And then from there, looking to scale up. You know what I'm saying? By
Damn.
still standing on their own, on a sense of just mathematics and, metrics, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If you get an advance, let's say of 100,000, you know, how can you project, getting that, paying, recouping that $100,000 advance with whatever deal, you know what I mean? Like now
Hmm.
some deals may just be like, wait a minute, like in order to recoup this, I don't know, $1 million deal, I need to make $10 million.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it
But
sounds like
that's
a bigger,
crazy. That's 10. That's 10 more of that meal. That's
right.
9 more.
Right, right, right.
Like
Now, you're better off just going to a bank and asking for a loan. You know what I mean, and paying
literally
that
and
off.
paying that off
With the
and
real job, with the regular job. You know what I mean?
uh,
Than to the music industry.
see, and they
Right.
don't tell artists that. Artists feel like they
No,
have to go to the label, but I feel like if more artists just had that awareness for that, but they just need to hear it more. They just need to hear it
it's
more. It's like you're better off going to the bank and working your job, bro, and doing it yourself.
the thing is, it's how all of this is presented, right? I mean, you and I grew up during the American Idol phenomenon.
Era.
So people really believed that they would get picked. You know what I'm saying? That and then superstardom overnight. You are the American Idol. Now you and I both know that it doesn't work like that, right? Back it was, but yet people still have this mindset that whenever they sign that piece of paper, that there's a system set in place that, you know what I mean? Boom, they're going to be mega superstars. That doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not to say that people can't make things happen, but then ultimately it comes down to demand. Is there demand for this? Do people like this, right? Human beings have ears and they react to whatever it is they react. And sometimes, anomalies come about, that A&Rs weren't able to pick up or whatnot. So, yeah,
Man,
anyways,
that's that real, bro. That's that real right there, V. That's that real right there, V. It really is, man. Thank you for really hitting us with that. And I know a lot of young artists will be able to use some of that information and like you'll flip the dimension in their mind, and just be like, all right, I heard this.
right. No,
good stuff.
It's every day people come to me anyways, just asking me questions, artist V, I'm dealing with this situation. How do I sort splits? How do I discuss these conversations? And I say, honestly, it's just about being, just having these conversations, just say straight up, hey, splits 50-50,
straight like that.
Just straight. You know what I mean?
For people who don't know, splits is your songwriting publishing percentages, you guys.
Yeah.
For who get part of what you can give. Some people don't even know, man. You can give your baby a split if you want to give your baby a split, man. Put that in the fund or something like that. We live in a new era. We can do stuff different. We can finesse too.
It's but it's interesting you present it like that because it's digital assets. I mean, I wish I had the intelligence, to do real estate, you know what I mean, and just be a big real estate developer and sign properties left and right, collect rent.
You're doing it sonically. You're doing it with the vibrations.
Exactly. Obviously, it's shared. You know what I mean, and the goal is to get these artists paid, man, and to get these artists to wherever it is that they want to be. You know what I mean? And it's because we're so. Just to come back to one of your questions, so it's just because we're indie. I operate with so much more self-awareness. I guess I'm trying to figure out the right word. Just because I know that if I were to move how some major labels were to move, I'd probably get called out, right?
Yeah, man. Got to keep it
so
straight.
I make sure that we're on point, that statements get sent out when they need to get sent out. You know what I mean? All emails are answered, right? Any question that, you know what I mean? It's important. It's important.
It's important, man. It's important, man. Well, shoot, there we go, man. I think that's good right there, man. We can sign off. You know what I mean? Y'all, we got the V-Man. I don't got V-Man to hit y'all with a whole bunch of information. So take these gems. Please take these gems. Hit us up, www.officialswampland.com. V-Man, you got anything to drop before we get out of here?
No, thank you, Swapland. Check us out. Letmehear.it. You can check out all our music. Thank you.
Hey, you know what it is, man. Swampland TV, man. It's your boy Pash, man. What's up? Peace out, man. What?